o'clock, and we expected the people would be arriving a little bit late today. And we're probably going to get a few more people coming in towards the, in a couple of minutes or so, because there's another event ending, and some of those folks are going to come out and head out here. Anyways, on behalf of the DC Host Committee and the DC Latino Caucus, I want to welcome everybody who came out tonight. I know the weather is not the best, and we're hoping that it gets a little better, especially for Saturday's rally. We're hopeful that the storm won't damper our challenge to get DC democracy. Anyways, thank you so much all for coming out here. This is an exciting week for so many people, because to celebrate the life of somebody that contributed so much to humanity, to us means so much in the Latino community. And what we wanted to do tonight is bring light to another great humanitarian, Cesar Chavez. So tonight basically hits on the relationship that existed between Cesar Chavez and Dr. Martin Luther King. What I wanted to do is I wanted to make you aware that we're actually having a number of events taking place this week, and until the memorial taking place on Sunday. And there is a wonderful piece of literature that just arrived today, right off the press, that shows you all the events taking place between now and Sunday. So please grab one or two of these, because they're going to be in high demand pretty soon. It's just wonderful. It tells you exactly what's going on in the city. These are all a bunch of events we put together. There's no charge to any of these events, and they're very, very nice. Before we get started, what we wanted to do is, and incidentally, I wanted to let you all know that last night we attended a similar discussion between the relationship that existed between Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. King at the Embassy of India. And that was just an incredible experience to know firsthand from scholars what it was like to know how these two leaders were connected. And that was just an incredible experience for those of us that attended that night. Before we get started, what I wanted to do is I just wanted to take a minute. Over the last week, we had one of our community leaders here in DC that passed. And his name is Saul Solorzano, who was an incredible activist in Washington, D.C. You can see his photo right here, and I've been sending out communications on his death. Just a terrible tragedy. Saul Solorzano lived in the city for many, many years. He worked helping thousands of people through an organization called Carecen in the city. A graduate of UDC, an American university, a short candidate for an at-large seat at the council. Just an incredible human being that we're going to miss dearly. So I just wanted to, if we could please take a moment of silence and pause to remember Saul Solorzano, I would appreciate it. Thank you. So let's get started here. We are privileged tonight to have a first-class panel talking about this relationship tonight. Immediately to my right, we're going to get started with Ana Sol Gutierrez, who is just an incredible. I remember that Tom Perez, when we honored him at an Obama inaugural gala, said that this is the grandmother of Latino politics in the whole region, and it is so true. Ana Sol Gutierrez is just an incredible human being, giving herself to every possible cause in all communities, not just the Latino, but you see Ana Sol everywhere. We are so privileged to have her with us tonight. She's a member of the House of Delegates since January 8, 2003, and just has such an incredible profile and biography that it would take me about 20 minutes to go through it, and I just think we're just so privileged to have you here tonight. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started and have you lecture us a little bit on Cesar Chavez and perhaps the connection of Dr. King. But right before we do that, we do want to recognize that the Cesar Chavez Foundation put out a statement today, and his son, Paul Chavez, sent out a statement which we put out today. And I want Frankie to come out and read it right before we get started, because I think it's appropriate to do that. So if you would do that. So this is from the president of the Cesar Chavez Foundation, who is the son of Cesar Chavez.
Cesar Chavez credited Dr. King with inspiring some of the most crucial tenets and strategies of the farm worker movement, including the uncompromising commitment to nonviolence and the first time in the U.S. history that boycotts were applied to major labor management struggles. Just a month before his death, Dr. King sent a telegram to my father, who was fasting for 25 days in Delano, California, to rededicate his movement to nonviolence. Dr. King said, quote, "As brothers in the fight for equality, I extend the hand of fellowship and goodwill and wish continuing success to you and your members. You and your valiant fellow workers have demonstrated your commitment to righting grievous wrongs forced upon exploited people. We are together with you in spirit and in determination that our dreams for a better tomorrow will be realized," end quote. Cesar Chavez once wrote that Dr. King, quote, "showed us the way," end quote. This monument on the National Mall doesn't just honor a great civil rights leader. It helps tell the story of America for all Americans.
Thank you so much. That was great. Let's use that in context. That's incredible. And so again, we're just so very honored to be here and so lucky that we're in Washington, D.C., and we're able to go down to the mall and really, have this monument to ourselves, pretty much all year round. Unlike some of the people, we're expecting about 300,000 people to visit the city, and the fact that most of us, or a lot of us here, are probably local. It makes us so unique, and we really have to take advantage of it. What a great humanitarian Dr. King was. So now I go ahead and pass it on to...
You don't want to introduce the rest of the panel?
Oh, perhaps I should.
Yeah,
okay, well, let's just do that then. Well, right after Ana Sol, we have Hector Rodriguez. Hector, it's just also very, very well known in the community. He's been an activist all of his life, pretty much. Has run for city council a number of times. Is the former Army captain in the Vietnam era. Worked at the White House during the Johnson administration. Has chaired a number of Latino commissions, including the Office of Latino Affairs. Beginning with it, I think he was part of the co-founder of that whole process to get that organization going. Just an incredible human being, and he's currently the president of the National Latino Alliance for Statehood. So he's just doing so much work in our community. And right next to Hector, we have Dr. Lara. Dr. Julia Lara is an education doctor and just another activist in our community. She has directed the District of Columbia Public Schools review of dual language programs, directed the completion of the Stellar Project, an online decision-making tool designed to assist educators in selecting appropriate testing accommodation for English learners, has guided work for the D.C. Office of Deputy Mayor of Education, served as Director of the Division of State Services and Technical Assistant, just overall, and she's on a number of national boards, so we're just so privileged to have somebody with that stature local here in D.C., Dr. Julia Lara. And the last but not least is Didier. Now Didier is filling in for Rosanna Olivas, who is actually compromised at another event, and I talked to her briefly, and she said she'll join us later. But Didier is just wonderful. I know Didier back from, we actually worked for Adrian Fenty to get him elected. We worked together in that campaign, and he's very much in tune with the Afro-Colombian movement, really the Afro-Latino movement, and so he's tied very much to this whole Dr. King event, and he wants to expose it and expose the vision of Dr. King to Latin America, and I know it's particularly to the Afro-Colombian communities that are right now under so much stress as we read in the press. So we're very fortunate to have here Didier Sinestera. Thank you very much. Okay, so now it's your turn.
Well, thank you very much, Franklin, and thank you for everybody for being here.
I think they're recording it and
okay. Would that be better?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just take this. Thank you. Well, let me start again by thanking you, Franklin, and everybody for being here. This is really a fabulous idea, Franklin. When you called me and invited me to be part of this event, I had another commitment, but I was able to shift it around. I'm going to have to leave a little bit early. I may not stay for the whole event, but you brought to my mind, and I think obviously to everybody else, those who are here at this event, but the DC population as a whole, how important it is for us to recognize not only the fantastic life of Martin Luther King, what he has meant to all of us, what he has meant to people of color, but to also underline the specific influence that he had on Martin Luther King, on Cesar Chavez. It was kind of an aha for me to say how very important it is in this incredible week of celebration. We finally have a statue that many thought that would never be built, that there was never going to be an opportunity to have an African American statue in the mall. It's long overdue. I have not had the chance to go visit it, but I think it's something that truly, truly we need to celebrate.